Hello, everybody. We are on day 9 of our Proverbs study, so we are in chapter 9. This chapter is about comparing wisdom and folly or foolishness. Let's start with verse 1. Wisdom hath builded her house, she hath hewn out her 7 pillars. I think that could represent a lot of different things. My first thought was the 7 spirits of God that's talked about in Isaiah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of representation in the 7 pillars mentioned here. Verse 2, she hath killed her beast, she hath mingled her wine, she hath also furnished her table. She is preparing. Verse 3, she hath sent forth her maidens, she crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she said to him. Verse 5, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. Verse 7, he that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. I'm going to read that out of Amplified because I really liked how they worded it. Verse 7 in Amplified is, he who corrects and instructs a scoffer gets dishonor for himself, and he who rebukes a wicked man gets insults for himself. How many of you know sometimes with some people you got to pray, Lord, is this the time to approach them? Is this the time to bring this to their attention? Because some people, you got to pray, Lord, are they going to receive this or are they not going to receive this? Is it going to do more harm than good? Verse 8, back in the King James. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Now, I want to talk to the people of God here. When you get rebuked by a respectable person in the faith, by a spiritual mother or a spiritual father, even a pastor, how do you respond? Because how you respond to a rebuke says a lot about your character. It says a lot about how much of the fruit of the Spirit that you are carrying in your life. Now, I'm not saying it may not sting, but I think we should all take reproofs and corrections to the Lord and say, Lord, have I done something that needs to be changed? Not just get offended right off the bat. Because offense is the bait of Satan. If you know, you know. Going on in verse 9, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Be teachable. Men and women of God, be teachable. Timothy had Paul. God gives us people in our lives to instruct us and to guide us. Yes, the Holy Spirit is first and foremost your teacher. However, God does give us people in our lives that we should learn from and take criticism, constructive criticism, correction, reproof. We should be able to take those things. Verse 10, again it mentions this. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That has been mentioned multiple times in Proverbs. That means it's very important. For by me thy days shall be multiplied. Again, it's talking about wisdom will lengthen your days, and the years of thy life shall be increased. Y'all, when something is mentioned this much, you better take it as truth. Solid truth. Verse 12, if thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. The Amplified version of verse 12 says, if you are wise for yourself, for your own benefit. If you scoff, which means thoughtlessly ridicule and disdain, you alone will pay the penalty. Basically, don't be critical of other people. Don't be scoffing at other people. Verse 13, a foolish woman is clamorous. Clamorous means noisy, loud, demanding, impromptu. A phrase that means clamorous is you're not just loud, but also aggressive about it. I'm sure we all know people like that. She is simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city to call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet. Stolen waters meaning pleasures, forbidden pleasures. And bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So in this chapter, it talks about wisdom and her house set up high on a hill and how she's prepared her home and she wants to give people wisdom. And it's also talking about folly or foolishness. And it gives us that same imagery of foolishness having a house and trying to pull people into false doctrines, false beliefs, things that are not going to be good for them and that will give them death in the end. This is all for today. Tomorrow we'll be in chapter 11 and I will see you then.